Hey guys, LongHaul Larry and
me.
And it's time to get, we got side by side all fixed up. Took it out for a rip and the jerkiness is gone. I fixed that. When you take off, it's a nice smooth takeoff now, so that was the belt. I'm gonna have to find another supply for a belt. Hopefully I can find one cheaper. But that was all good. Everything's good with that one. So now it's time to get this lawnmower off. And what we're gonna do is she's unstrapping it and we're gonna tilt the trailer and just roll it off. And Tracy's the brakes.
Cool.
That means you have to lay it in front of and behind it and stop it. That's what that means.
Gotcha. No problem.
No problem. Got it? I knew that was going to happen. The snowblower was going to bottom out. So, it's a good thing somebody bought a handy dandy winter thing.
What's this? I can pull it back. Just right here.
Pull!
This is how I got that big
Pull!
piece.
There you go. I didn't think it happened. You did it. Okay. Oh, he woman. All right, guys, it is time to start tearing apart this lawnmower. Basically, this is surprising to me. Watch this. Okay, no, it's not gonna do it. Oh, that's because. Look at this. The battery even works. I did try to turn it over. If I think I gotta sit on the seat too, maybe. I don't know. See, it does turn over. So, battery's good in it. The motor does run, I guess. But it makes a lot of clickety-clack noises and runs really rough. So, to me, that sounds like a connecting rod or something. Right there it is. It's a Craftsman Kohler Pro 26 horsepower. This is the exact motors I used to work on in an assembly line. I worked on many of these, built, tested, and worked on a lot of these motors. So, should be able to go back in the memory bank and figure this out. But basically all I got to do now is disconnect the fuel pump, pull that aside, disconnect all the wiring and stuff, the cables, and then I hooked up an eye bolt right up here and got that right over top of it, and we'll put some straps over the motor, and then I have a come along thing that I picked up right here, and it's got a strap on it. Bought this one because it's real long like that, so if we have to cut down some of these trees in the backyard or something, you can use this to kind of pull the trees in the direction we want and stuff. Always nice to have it come along. I figured that'd be useful. But we're just going to yank this motor out, and I'm going to hoist it up in the air. I'm not going to. Tracy is. She's out back right now mowing. And I'm just going to sit here and disconnect stuff. I'm going to get out my little stool and just sit here and start tearing stuff off of here. And I'm going to pull the hood right off. And get it all ready, and then she can hoist it up. And I got like a little roll cart thing over there. It's almost the height of the bench. And we'll just drop it on that and then roll it over there to the bench. And I'll set it up on a bench and start tearing it down and see if I can figure out what the problem is with this. So I don't think I'm going to video just disconnecting wires and hoses and all that stuff. So. Alright, we got her all unbolted. And got her hanging there. Now, Casey gets to pull the lawnmower back. Leave everything off. Go ahead. I didn't mean to do like a Baja 500 pullback, but that's okay. Just in case it fell, you know.
Sometimes I don't know my own strength.
Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking we should drain the oil right now into a bucket.
to a bucket. Yeah, my bucket.
You know what I mean? I think that would be a good choice. Well, guys, we got the motor pulled out. Got it up on this little roll cart so we don't have to. Saw how we lifted it so I wouldn't have to lift stuff. I was telling her I'm like so frustrated trying to figure out things because I actually worked at Kohler Company. I think it was like, I don't know, almost 20 years ago, something like that. And I used to work on the assembly line for this. I used to work in test and reliability, and I was a mechanic at the end of the line. I used to work on the end of it, kind of assembling linkage and all this stuff. Sometimes I'd come out of the test cell when I didn't have any motors. When the line wasn't producing fast enough, I'd get caught up and get ahead. And so I'd come out the line and work on there. And then I would pull all the motors in and I would fire them up and set the RPMs and everything and test them and just inspect them and everything, make sure they're running properly and stuff. And then whenever there was problems, I'd set them off to the side and then had a mechanics bench out by the line. We'd pull the motors out there and then we'd have to go through and fix whatever wasn't assembled correctly or whatever to get them running again. And used to work on this exact same engine. It was a pretty long time ago, but I think I can remember it. So we got the motor out, got it pulled out, and I actually just had a conversation with a Kohler dealer, trying to find if I could just get them a new motor. You know, I think that would be optimal. This motor is at least it's like 15 years old. So yeah, it's run a lot. But the guy that we bought it from, actually, I didn't even know this, but Tracy went and picked it up, and she said that he was a small engine repair shop. And I was like, what? Why didn't he fix this and then resell it, you know? And it turns out that's what he did, is he bought it off a guy. He bought the lawnmower off a guy, and he's had it sitting there and just hasn't gotten to it or something. He turned around and decided to sell it. I think that he looked at it and thought, I'll just put a new motor in it. And because from what his description is, it makes a cling clang noise and it runs real well. Excuse me. And I think that he looked online, maybe talked to distributors or whatever, and found out the cost of a new motor. This problem is that this motor is a little bit different than a regular 25 horsepower motor. It has a special size crank on it. It's not tapered or anything, it's a straight crank, but it has an 1.125" crank by 4.5 inches long. And so just any 25 horse Kohler motor will not fit in here. I actually found a complete motor online for sale, clearanced out, and it was like $900. And I thought, well, I'll just buy a new motor. And I called up the company, talked to them, and they said they looked up all the numbers and they said, nope, it won't fit. Yours, they checked all the model numbers and everything, and they said that yours has a specialty crank, and I got to have that crank to fit all the pulley system that's underneath the engine, so that you can hook the snowplow and all that other stuff. So he did some searching around for me, and he said he talked to a distributor, and the distributor, it says that they have a bunch on order of these engines. They've actually ordered a bunch from Kohler, and I guess they've been on order for about 2 months. And they said they don't know when they're going to show up, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 2 more months, they don't know. And the price on these things, on the complete motor, is $1,900. So that's I'm kind of hoping that isn't an option, but the guy said that he did check, and they have what's called a short block. And a short block is basically the crank, the pistons, everything's all assembled except for all the plastic stuff, the flywheel, the electrical stuff, the wire harness, and the heads and the carburetor stuff. And you just put that stuff on the new motor and just build it up from there. And they do have those in stock. So if it's too bad, if it's too much in here, while I crack this apart, then it's going to be probably just order a short block. And he said he can have that to me in a couple days. So that's one other option. So I'm going to start tearing this thing apart. And I think that's why that guy with that we bought this off of, that had a small engine place, I think that's why he kind of decided not to mess with it. because I think, you know, he was thinking, well, if I can get a motor for $900,000, that's what usually a new motor is going to cost, about the size. Then I figure he probably could buy the new motor, throw it in there, and then he could put it up for sale and make some money off it. But I think then when he found out that a new motor is going to cost $2,000 almost, I think he thought, well, by the time I put my time in it and do all this and everything, try to resell it, how am I going to sell this lawnmower for $3,000 to $4,000 to make a profit? So I think that's why he gave up on it. All right. I got done eating breakfast and I started working on it and stuff. Took a couple screwdrivers and just slowly pried back and forth. And pulled the engine. Ooh, this oil pan, this is, yeah, this thing's junk. Inside of here, this is all scored. You guys can't really see it. Don't even pay. To show you all this is your governor over here. It's your oil pump. It's just all grooves and scored in here. So the crank is gonna be, oh yeah. Yeah, this is done. This motor's done. I'm gonna have to get a short block at least. This is just the governor deal. Sits up on here. So that is. Yeah, I gotta. Oh yeah, and this connecting rod is junk too. It's real loose. So it's gonna have to be a short block at least, a minimum. Hey guys, continuing on with this lawnmower. I don't know really how much I explained of this or not, but this motor, I have taken this apart. I could not get the oil pan off of this thing. I worked so hard to get this, and it should just come right off. I actually did get it off after prying it. I was actually trying to put it back on. Now it's stuck again. It's so much damage on the crank, and the oil pan shot. The inside surface is all, somebody ran us without oil is what happened. But the connecting rods are all loose and sloppy and stuff. I have been searching and searching. I've had quite a few different lawnmower places, implement stuff, from up here, down by my daughter, down by Appleton area. I've had them searching around there. I've had lawnmower places over in Minnesota by my other daughter because she's going to be coming here later this week. And I've been trying to get somebody to find this engine to get me one. And it's just not possible. This motor is not made anymore. So through the searches, I have found that I can get a short block. And now a short block is just the oil pan, the crankcase, the pistons, the crank. It's just that part. It's not included with, it does not come with the head or any of the plastic or nothing like that. Any of the exterior stuff. And does not come with the heads or nothing. And I can get that. I have found a couple places that say they can get it. There's a place that has them in stock and everything else. And I was thinking about doing that. But then I was thinking about it and I was like, you know, this motor's 15 years old. You know, it's got valves in it and everything else. The valves are going to be redone. It's 15 years old. So then I was just like, maybe I can get a long block. So I've had all these companies searching for a long block version. I know I can't get the engine complete. And I've had everybody searching for a long block conversion or, you know, engine. And there was a guy up here at an employee place I talked to, and he said that the distributor said something about a long block, thought he had one or something, but he wasn't sure on the price. He was real weird about it and stuff. Wouldn't give me kind of pricing or nothing. And he just kind of made a remark, oh, probably something like this, and you know, this price range. And I was just like, you know, so I called him back and I said, listen, talk to your distributor, find out if this long block is available and what the exact cost is and when I can get it. It was like 3 days of waiting for him. And finally, and he kept saying, you know, I'm waiting for my distributor and stuff. Finally, I went online and I actually found a newer engine. And it actually comes out of, it's made for a riding zero-turn lawnmower. And it's a Kohler motor. I was looking at some Briggs & Stratton motors. And I think, and I found them with the same size shaft. They were like a 16th shorter. And I thought, that's fine. If I have to, I can just put a little washer in there for a spacer or something like that. But the pulley would fit on there and stuff. It's just when you put the bolt in, you might bottom out, might push on the pulley. So I thought, well, I could put a little shim, a little tiny thin washer or something in there to take up that space. And the only problem is, though, is that the wiring harness to the tractor, it's going to be different. And so then I'd have to go through and rewire everything and trace the wires and find out exactly, you know, and try to make that Briggs hook up to the wiring in the tractor that's already there. And I was willing to do that. It would be, you know, time consuming, but not impossible. And then I was just messing around looking at different things. And I actually found a guy on eBay that has a 26 horse vertical Kohler engine. And it has the same exact shaft as this. It has 1.5 inches by 4 3/8 or whatever it is. And it is made for a zero-turn lawnmower. And a really cheap price. I guess he sold a few of them, and he had them, and I made an offer on one, and he accepted it. And so I got it really at cheap cost, and it's brand new and everything. It's a replacement motor. It comes all complete. Everything is complete. All the plastics on it and everything else. It's a little bit different looking in this. It's a little newer style. I think it'd be fine. It is a Kohler engine, and it does, and I looked at the pictures of it, it has the same exact plug as this one. So I don't think I'm going to have to do wiring, a lot of wiring and stuff. So I actually ordered it. I think it's going to work. I think it'll be fine. I'm hoping it's just going to be a drop-in. I'm waiting for it to be delivered now. I tracked it just, I think yesterday, and it's on its way here. It's coming out of Indiana. And I think they said delivery on Thursday, I think they said, or something like that. It's coming by FedEx, I think. So that'll be coming up here, and hopefully we can drop that right in. I'll need to take the exhaust pipes off and everything and translate it over to the new engine, but everything else should be complete. So we're going to see how that works. But until then, I figured I would continue working on the tractor, and I'm going to clean up the mower deck. So the John Carpenter was here over the weekend, and he did a whole bunch of projects around the place for me. And I so much appreciate all he did. Really did a lot of things that I kind of needed to get done before winter, really needed to get done before winter, and I was just not going to be able to accomplish them. And it would have been quite a bit for Tracy. So he was able to knock these out, and that was pretty cool. Right before he left, I asked him, I said, can we set some sawhorses out here? And him and my daughter, they lifted it up and set my lawnmower deck up on here. And it's not in bad shape at all. It's just got a little bit of tiny surface rust on it. And so what I'm going to be doing is sitting up here like this. I'm going to take it all apart, take the covers off, take the pulleys off as much as I need to. And then I'm going to take a wire wheel, and I'm going to wire wheel the whole thing, and then put a real nice coat of paint on it, get it all fixed up real nice and everything so it stops the rust. And then somehow we're going to try to flip this. I think that if Tracy comes out and we just kind of tip it up on the things, we can kind of rotate it and kind of push it to the side and get it flipped up the other way. And then I can get the blades off. The blades are in good shape. And then I'll wire wheel underneath and put a coat of paint underneath, and that'll keep it from rusting anymore and hurting anything. It's in really good shape. It looks like whoever had it did a little bit of welding on here. Kind of looks like some boogered up welding, but it seems to be holding. But it looks like this bracket back here came loose off the deck, and it looks like he's put some weld on there. And then these pins here that snap it onto the actual lawnmower, looks like they maybe had broken loose or had gotten really worn or something. They put some new spacers in there to hold them where they should be. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm out here. It's a pretty warm day. And I got a little heat wave going on in the UP here. And I got the old shorts on. And I'm going to start tearing this thing apart and wire wheel it and clean it up. Paint it. Well, there we go, guys. Got it all wire wheeled down up on the top. I wanted to pull the whole pulley assemblies out. The bearings and everything. I wanted to pull those out, but I put my impact on there with a socket, and I wrapped on these on this one, and they just wouldn't turn. They're a metal steel bolt, and they're screwed in. These are aluminum, and there's a piece of aluminum down here that they thread into, and they just wouldn't budge, and I wasn't gonna put a big socket on, a big ratchet on it, and snap those off. Then I'd have to get all new bearings, and none of them are good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. They all spin very freely. They're all good. There's no big play in them. Been finding new ones for this old of a unit might be an issue. So I left those on, pulled the pulleys on so I could get right down in there with a wire wheel and clean it all up. And I went over sandpaper, couple spots I had to, and got all the big rust spots all off of there and cleaned it all up. And got a nice coat of paint on there. I just used a matte color. I didn't want to have it real shiny and stuff. This is a lawnmower. It's not, you know, nothing fancy here. Mow grass with it and snowblow. So yeah, this side's all cleaned up. Now I gotta get Tracy out here and see if she's gonna be able to lift this up on end on the sawhorses and flip it over so I can start grinding and wire wheeling underneath. All right, guys. Tracy got this flipped over last night. The little Musco lady. No grunt. And we ground on it and everything else and got all the rust, got everything down to bare metal, and I've been painting and everything else. We got her all painted up, and I actually found this special paint they sell up here. It's XO Rust Professional, and it's actually got graphite in it. It's supposed to make it's supposed to include a dry an easy dry film lubricant in the paint. And this is made for mower underdecks, I think, and so that it don't stick. The grass and stuff don't stick, so it don't rust anymore. We got her all cleaned up and all painted. Now I got to flip her back over. And I'm going to paint the plastic, the chute that goes off, and the plastic covers. And I guess we're going to have those red. That's what Tracy says. She's the boss. So somebody, I think it was Susan Williams, I think it was, made a comment because we were in the house and we were having a argument.
We don't argue.
I know we don't argue, but they think we argue. Oh. And she says, you know, the woman's always right. And I said, that's what Tracy says too, but then we had an argument about that. So, no, we just have banter back and forth. That's what we do. Just fun. All right, I got to flip this thing back over, and I can start putting everything back together. I did get all the belts ordered, and so it's going to have all brand new belts and everything, and I'll keep the old ones as spares. And we'll be rocking here. Just waiting for the motor. All right, guys, the deck is done. It is all put back together. It is ready to go. We are ready to rock on this thing. Ooh, look at this. It's bright red. I decided to paint this. Red is danger. Don't go in there. You can't step on this. That's what it says. But all the pulleys are all good. All the bearings are real good. Everything is. I've checked them all throughout. I do not have the new belts for it. I just ordered them all today and stuff, and I think they are supposed to start showing up tomorrow to Friday. All the different belts for this. There's actually 4 belts. There's 2 on the tractor, a drive belt. And then there's the deck belt, and then there's 2 belts that go to the snowblower. And I have all new belts coming, and I'll just keep the old belts as backups. But it's pretty nice, all cleaned up, no more rust. And no, I did not clean the pulley sections and paint those because that's just silly. You put the belts on there, and the paint just comes right off, wears right down the middle. So, but she's all painted up, ready to go. So that's pretty nice. I even left my little belt diagram on here that shows how the belt runs. Left that sticker on there. All the rest came off. So there we go. Now I'm just waiting for the motor, and I actually got a phone call from FedEx a little while ago, and they said that they were showing that I'm going to be having an engine showing up there tomorrow, and they wanted to set up delivery. And I told them, I'm pretty much here anytime, just give me a jingle and make sure I'm going to be here at the time. I'm not a PT or something. And they said that the driver would call me and give me kind of a more approximate time when we was heading over here. So that's cool. So I'm gonna get the motor for this thing and be ready to go. So we need to think up a name of this, and I'm thinking what we need to do is take these letters, the Craftsman, and make a new name out of those letters. And you guys can put that down in the comments, and we'll peel all the stickers off, because hey, I'm not sponsored by Craftsman, so they don't get the advertisement. But we're gonna take the stickers off, and we're gonna put them back on and put them in a different pattern to make a new name for the lawn tractor. How's that sound? So as soon as we get the motor, I'm probably going to I'm gonna have Tracy drop the lawn deck and probably lean it up against the house where it was, and then we'll probably hook back up to this. I just used Quasi there to hook up to it and pull it back into the garage. And then I'll probably disconnect the snowblower attachment. I'll probably do a little grinding on that and paint that up too. There's a little bit of rust that's starting to do on the top here. So I'll probably just clean up the couple little rusty spots, and then put a little bit of paint on there. And she'll be ready to roll as soon as I get that motor dropped in. Awesome. So I'm going to let you guys go. I hope that everybody out there is having themselves a great day, great night as they watch this here video. And if you're not, well, certainly let's try that all over again tomorrow. Put it down in the comments. What can you come up with for a name out of those letters?